So I'm doing some work for my patio today, and it's beautiful outside, and I'm working with Maxie out here. So I'm gonna say hi to Maxie. There he is, pretty pup. So get in. So I touched on something in my podcast, and I wanted to do a little mini for YouTube in case you don't listen to the podcast, but you should because they're super good. But the thing I want to kind of touch on for this mini is complaining. And this is the direction, I'm going to take you to church a little bit, but it's okay. How are we supposed to be a good example to anybody else or to let our little light shine if we're constantly complaining and being negative? When we are not focused on the big picture, and the big picture is everything here is temporary and we're just passing through, and our destination is something way bigger than we could ever imagine and way better than anything that we'll experience here. We're focused on that big picture. Complaining kind of goes out the window. But when we start getting distracted by these temporary things, we start complaining, because we really do complain about very temporary things. If you think about it, we're complaining that, the service is slow, or our meal is cold, or our hair isn't doing good, or our clothes don't fit, or the weather's funky, or we have aches and pains. There's a ton of things we complain about, but they're about temporary things. There's a traffic jam, all that temporary thing. So when we're complaining constantly, why would anybody really want to pay any attention to us if we're constantly negative? And people deal with this differently when we're negative. If you're a negative person, people are either going to avoid you, or they're really not going to take you seriously, or they're not really going to want to talk to you about a lot of things because they're going to think, oh my gosh, we're just going to hear about all the bad things. You're going to be met with a lot of eye rolls. Is what I think. Like, oh goodness, here we go. And for a second, let's stop trying to justify our complaining. Well, I complain about these things because life is hard. I don't have as much money as I'd like because I don't have the opportunities everybody has. Quit justifying your complaining, because life is hard. We have challenging days. We have rough days. But that's life, right? It happens to everybody. The only thing that we really are in control is how we respond to these things. Are we going to complain about all of them? Or are we going to try to see the good, try to see the opportunity, see what we need to do to, make things better, take action? How are we going to respond to those bad days? Because what we have to understand is we are not all-knowing. We don't know what's going to happen today. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. The only all-knowing being is God, right? And then he's the only one that knows exactly what's going to happen. So when we're complaining, basically, we're fussing that we didn't get our way. And our ways shouldn't be what directs our life and our paths. God's way should. So when we complain, we're basically saying, but I want to do it my way. My way's better. But at the end of the day, if his plans are different than my plans, then who am I to complain about that? When I complain, I'm basically questioning that he knows what he's doing. And thinking that my way is better than his, or I'm throwing a fit because I'm not getting my way. Oh my gosh, so that's the dog toy. Bear with me. So when we want to get our way, it's a sense of pride. So we need to put our pride aside. Thank you. Can I have that? That's the rubber chicken. So we need to put our pride aside, trust in God, make good choices, and then try to navigate this life based on our beliefs of the big picture. So that short and sweet little thing about complaining, something to think about. Like I said, you got to start learning to live life outside of yourself. And it's going to put a new perspective on everything, and it's really going to help you focus in on what's important. So I hope this helps and gives you something to think about.